It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hello and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and my lovely assistant, Miss Callie Ellis. Oh, here she comes. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah. Oh, yeah. On today's show, we're going to be doing football food because the Super Bowl is coming up, and we want to come up with lots of treats, and we're going to see what we can make in a short amount of time. I have so many ideas for you that are so many things, I just can't get them all in a half an hour show. So let's get cooking. First of all, the guys like it, and they won't admit to it, but hummus. It is so simple and so easy to make, and guys love it. They really do. They just won't to admit it because it's healthy. First of all, what we do is we have 1 can of garbanzo beans. Rinse these off completely. You want to get all that slimy stuff off there, all that juice. And then we'll throw these right into our blender, our food processor. Next, we're going to take and put in garlic. Now you can put in as much or as little as you want to. It all depends on your preference. I usually like to put in about a tablespoon. I like lots of garlic in it. The guys don't care about the bad breath. They can taste it, they think, oh, it's going to be good. But you can adjust that accordingly. And then we'll grind these up, and then we add olive oil to that. Now you just want to put this on a spade, grind those up. And just add the oil until we get a smooth paste, which is going to take approximately about 1/3 of a cup, 1/3 to a half a cup. And that's it. Very easy to do. And then I'm just going to take and put this into like a little serving bowl here. And then you just serve it with pita chips. Mmm. How's that, Callie? Come here. Well, you didn't even chew it. That's a little cookie wiggly. Yeah. All right, next we're going to make some seafood roll-ups. Now these are simple too. A lot of people think they're so difficult, and it's just, like I said, we're making fun food, simple food, fast food. Guys want to in and out, boom, eat, eat, eat. Now, of course, you can always have your pot of chili going on in the crock pot. Make it that ahead, throw it in the crock pot to keep it warm. Leaves you open space then on your oven, on your stove. For this now, we're going to start out with half an onion. And you can just roughly chop this because we're going to put this into the food processor anyway. Because we want to mince this up. Because it's going to be going into the roll-up. You want it minced so that it rolls up into the tortilla. Oh, we gotta plug it in, Callie. Oh. And then with that, we're going to put in 1 package of cream cheese. This is already softened at room temperature. And then we're going to put in about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green olives with the pimentos. And we put in about, this is hot chili paste. Really, really hot. So you only need a titch. We're going to put in, about a teaspoon. Maybe even a little less. This chili paste is extremely hot. You don't need a lot. So Oh, and I got that one goes in, but that one. Oh, I got too many things going on here at once. Then, for our seafood, we want about 8 ounces of seafood. Now you can use real crab meat, you can use jumbo shrimp, you can put in tuna fish if you want, whatever, you know, type of seafood or you want to put in. I've got the imitation crab. I can't afford the real stuff. I'm going to put that in the food processor. I got 4 ounces of that. And then I got 4 ounces of the tiny shrimp. Now we're going to take and pulse this up. We don't want to mince this completely. Oh, we got to change it back again. Callie, I keep forgetting to unplug one and plug in the other. We just want this into a little rough chop. And we're going to put this right into our cheese mixture. And then we're just going to put in just a little salt, not much, and a little pepper, just a dash. Don't need a lot, and mix that up. And that's going to be our filling. We'll just take and spoon on our mixture and just cover your tortilla and stay about a ½ inch away from the end, because this is all going to smoosh out when you roll it up. And you can put it on like about a ¼ inch to an 1/8 inch thick. You don't want it heavily, because you want to be able to roll it up, but you don't want it real thin either, because you want to be able to taste everything. And then we just roll these up like a burrito. Roll them up tight. Take and just cut off the ends. You don't need to have that part. Simple. And we'll lay these on a cookie sheet so we can put these in the refrigerator to firm up. And then just go through until you finish off all your filling. Okay, ooh, that was good, wasn't it? Callie, let's go on to our next recipes. Ooh, next we're going to be making a refried bean taco dip. This is rather simple too. For this, I'm going to take and make a double batch here. Actually, it's a single batch, but I'm going to divide it in half because these are smaller containers. That way I can have one in the both refrigerated, but I can take one and give it away, and then one we can use at home for the guests. So, what we need is 1 can of refried beans, and so I'm just going to put half in each container. So what you can do is, if you wanted to make just one pan, just put this in a 12 by 13 pan. I just have 2 square ones, so I can have 2 individual ones. This way, I can bring one to the studio for my friends and then keep one at home for my roommate and myself. Because they watch the game at the studios too. It's a TV station, they gotta watch everything. Oh, see, look at her. She's up now. She's awake. Oh. Waiting for samples, aren't you, Callie's? Yeah. So you just take these refried beans and just spread them all over the bottom of your pan. This is very simple. And spread those around. I know at my house growing up as a kid, when it came to the football season, our family wasn't really into it, not at all. I mean, my father was, but he'd leave the house because us kids weren't into it. We'd rather watch cartoons. But he'd taken, of course, go to the bar, and that's where all the people are, at the bar, watching the game, you know. So our family never really got into the spirit of football. Plus my two older brothers, my second oldest brother never did. And my oldest brother, who did, he was 5 years older, so by the time I was able to understand the game, he was already gone out of school, moved out of the house. So I never really got into it until after I got out of school. But even still, even though they're not doing well, I still like them, I don't care. So next, we're going to put in our next layer, which is going to be 1/2 cup of sour cream. And of course, we're going to divide this, you know, in between the two. But it's 1/2 cup of sour cream. And it's going to be 2/3 cup of mayonnaise. And 1 packet of taco seasoning mix. And this we take and mix up thoroughly. Make sure you break up that taco seasoning mix, because sometimes if your store doesn't sell it as much, your dried seasoning packets, all those flavorings and soup mixes, all those things in the dry packets, if they've been sitting there for a while, they're going to get all hard and cakey. And so you get these big chunks in there. And you want to make sure you break those chunks up. Because you don't want to take a bite into the salad and just like, a big chunk of chili powder. Whoa, how awful it would taste, ish. Just make sure you get those all broken up. Mix thoroughly. Then we'll just divide this in half. And spread this layer all over your beans. This is so good. Oh, that's why I'm glad I'm making 2 of these, so I can keep one for myself. I don't want to eat the whole batch. I could. That'd be too simple. But you get your tortilla chips and just dig into this, and oh my God, it's so good. There, we got that layer spread around. And our next layer is going to be green chilies. Take a can of green chilies, and we're going to put half of that on one and half on the other. Now you can get hot and spicy or mild, all depends on your preference. I got the milder ones because not too many people like really hot and spicy, and you got a lot of spice in here anyways. You don't need it that hot. We Scandinavians kind of shy away from the really hot and spicy. Personally, I love the hot and spicy, but most people I know don't. Because you can always add more spices, and that is true for any recipe. You can always add more to your individual taste, on your spoon, whatever. But once you put it in, you can't take it out. So you got to think of other people that you're going to feed this to. If everybody in the crowd loves hot and spicy, then go for the hot can. You know, that's just fine. But, you know, if you got people that don't, well then, you know, be considerate to others and just get the milder one. I know I worked in a lot of senior homes too. And seniors, of course, when I'm cooking for them, you can't put any spice in. Anything, it just upsets them immediately. So they're very picky about spices. Now our next layer is going to be the guacamole. And what we do is we take our avocados, cut them in half lengthwise, twist it, and then take your knife and just pop it into the seed, twist that, and it comes right out. Now to get your ripe avocado, the softer the better, that's ripe. When you buy them at the store, they're usually hard and green. Then when you get home, put them in a paper bag, throw them under the cupboard into a dark room, and let them ripen for about 2 or 3 days until they're soft. That's the only way you're going to get them to ripen up. So if you're going to make this recipe, make sure you got your avocados ahead of time. Because the stores generally don't sell them soft. Because if they start softening up, it's just like they don't sell ripe bananas either. They get rid of them. Same with avocados. They generally don't do that. Then, just be careful of that little stem from the top of the avocado. You don't get that into your guacamole. But then just take and cut down until you feel the peel. About 1/4 to a 1/2 inch wide strips all the way down. And then do the same thing crossways. And then we're going to just take a spoon and just follow the edge of the peel, and it just falls right out. See? Clean the whistle. A lot of people think cleaning avocados is such a pain and stuff. Well, it is if you don't know how to do it. But when I show you how to do it like this, it's so simple. So you want to make sure now I get that little stem off. That falls in so easily when you cut open your avocados. And just whack it and twist. If you want to, you can save these and stick toothpicks in the sides, and then point a tip up, and then put that in a glass of water so that the toothpicks are held in up, and the water's touching the bottom of the nut, and it'll grow. It will. It's a nice little project for kids to do. Stick it in the windowsill or whatever, and it'll vine up, and you grow your own little avocado plant. Kind of something fun to do for the winter time. Because everything is dead, and then you got something growing in your house. It's kind of fun to see something alive and green growing when it's dead in winter outside. You can do the same thing with a sweet potato too, and do your own sweet potato vines like we have in the summertime. Everybody has the sweet potato vine in their containers. Or you can just grow those yourself too in the wintertime inside the house. Then, I'm going to add two tablespoons of lemon juice. And that keeps the avocados from turning black. And that's just gross when they turn black. That's what you need the lemon juice for. And let's see. Which one? Garlic. I want some garlic powder. And put in about a teaspoon. And now the easiest way to chop this up is you can use a fork or a mini food processor, or like I'm doing, the best way, or not the best, but an easy way, is a potato masher. And you just take and mash those up. Now you can mash this up or puree it in the food processor as much as you want to. If you want a really smooth paste, again, that's all in your own preference. I like to have mine a little on the chunkier side and not completely smooth, because I find people like to bite into chunks of avocado rather than just being all pureed. And then we just take and put half of this on here and half on the other. And that's what your guacamole is. It's just avocado, a little lemon juice, and garlic. That's it, very simple. It's not all complicated. I've had people tell me, oh, you make such a great guacamole. Well, it's not hard. It's very easy to do. And we just take and spread this all around. Callie, this is gonna be good. You gonna come out for samples? She's on the corner, she's listening. She won't come out until everything's all done. I don't know how she knows, but she knows. Okay, that's for the guacamole. Then on top of that, it's covered up with your shredded cheddar cheese. And I like to get the sharp cheddar, of course, but you can use, you know, the tacos blended up cheeses, Colby cheese, whatever, you know, cheese you want to. I get the sharp shredded cheddar, and I get the fine shredded. You can use the large shredded too if you want to, but I just like the fine because it's easier to break down in when you're dipping with your chips, you know. Whereas the bigger chunks have a tendency to fall off your chip then. And then again, your own personal preference, you can put it on as thick or as light as you want. You just want enough on there though so that it covers up everything. Because that's the top of your dip. A little bit more on this one. And that's it for the dip. That's very simple. Just boom, 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 layer them out. And then you can just put this little saran wrap on it, a foil, stick it in the refrigerator, and let this get chilled thoroughly, and we're ready for our dip. Refried bean taco dip. And these are wonderful football treats for your fans. Super Bowl's coming up in February, so here's some wonderful ideas. This is our taco bean dip. And it's all layered and chilled, and you just dip right in. And you can see all the layers in there. Let's taste that one, Callie. That's really good. Now, with that taco seasoning in there, like I said, be careful with your spices, because this is good. But some people might not care for the spice if it's too hot, so you might want to cut back on your taco seasoning just a little bit. Maybe just use half a packet instead of a whole packet. And like I said, use the mild chilies instead of the hot ones. So you can, you know, you can arrange the heatness of it too. And then these are our seafood wraps. We took and sliced them into 1/4-inch slices, and they turned out just fine. These are nice little bite-sized treats. Of course, there's a lot of them in the refrigerator still, but I didn't get them all out here. But the recipe makes a large amount for everybody to share. And then these are our pita chips to go with our hummus. And you can get these chips anywhere. All the stores have them. Dollar Store even has them, really cheap. And this is what our hummus is, which is just garbanzo beans, garlic, and olive oil mixed together. And makes a wonderful little dip. Crunch on that, Callie. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed all these treats that we made. I know your football fans are going to really love these. These are really simple to make and fun to eat, and serves a lot of people. I only have small amounts here. I didn't want to bring everything out at once. Callie enjoyed the chips and cheese, didn't you, Callie? Yeah. She's waiting for more. Look at her. Yeah. Well, Callie, let's see who wrote us this week. Feet time. Oh, in the position, girl. Yeah. Oh. And these are our own homemade doggy treats. We haven't made any doggy treats in quite a while, Callie. We should make us some more. I got, like, I don't know, I got 4 different recipes, I think, so far for homemade doggy treats, and they're just your common ingredients from around the house. They're very simple to make for your dog, and they're very healthy. Dear Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, I was wondering what I can do during these winter months when it's cold and dreary outside to have something green and fresh inside. Do you have any suggestions? Sarah of New Hope, Minnesota. All right, hi Sarah, thanks. Yeah, there's quite a few things. As I had mentioned during the show, you can use your avocado pit from the avocado. Stick the toothpicks in there, put that in a glass of water. Make sure water is always touching the bottom of the nut. And it'll grow into a plant and vine and grow around your house. You can put that in your window of your kitchen, whatever. You can do the same thing with a sweet potato, because we all have the sweet potato plants in our containers in the summertime. You can grow them in the wintertime too. Same thing, just take a sweet potato, cut it in half, and stick toothpicks in there and stick that into the water so that the water is always on the bottom. Always make sure it's moist, don't let it dry out. And it'll grow a vine, and you'll have your sweet potato vine in the middle of the winter. Another thing too, now this time of the year, you might want to check your hardware stores like Menards and Home Depot, wherever you bought your spring flower bulbs, tulips, hyacinths, daffodils. Right now they are dirt cheap because they didn't sell them all, and they're left over and they're trying to get rid of them, the ones that didn't sell. Those you can take and buy and grow indoors. And the way to do that is put them in the refrigerator in your vegetable crisper. Make sure there's no other food around there, otherwise they won't grow. And let them sit in there for 9 weeks, and then take them out and plant them in dirt in little pots around the house, and they'll grow. And you know, come January, February, they're going to have blooms of fresh bulb tulips, spring bulbs in your house. You can also take and put them in smaller pots if you want of dirt, stick them in the refrigerator, or out in your garage, I mean, and then bring them indoors, and they'll start growing again too. But you want to have them chilled off for at least 9 weeks. And I've done that before, and I've had lots of tulips and daffodils in the middle of winter. It's just beautiful and makes you feel so much better because everything's cold and dead and dreary and gray outside. So I hope that answers your question, Sarah. So from my helper here, give a pita chip. We like to say, healthy eating, be safe, and spread the sunshine. Say goodbye, Callie. Bye-bye. Punch, punch, punch.